Okay, I have it. Yes. So if I drink, can you hear me gulp?
Yes. No. All right, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Is that your ritual?
No, never done that before. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. It's Proverbs 18:22. Welcome to the first bonus episode of Seeking Wisdom, the podcast to help Christian young men see life from God's perspective. I'm Dan Schaefer, and we're joined today by the first ever girl on this show. This is Sophia Raymondetta. She's my cousin, and she is a godly young woman. She's here to help us know how Christian young men can make themselves attractive to a godly young woman. Sophie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All
so excited to be here.
This is Sophie's first podcast.
I am so stoked to be with you guys today. You don't even know.
I don't think you guys understand. She got here late last night from Pensacola and was like, I want to be on a podcast. So we have a special bonus episode, partly for your benefit, but also partly so Sophie can be on a podcast.
Yes, this is new for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sophie, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing right now? What do you enjoy? What's the manliest thing you've ever done? That kind of stuff.
Okay. Right now I'm attending college at Pensacola Christian College. I'm studying.
I found the sound pad.
I'm studying a medical office administration, a 4-year degree in that. I'm in my second semester of my freshman year. Big experiencing with the soundboard. Let's see, for fun, I honestly just go to coffee shops with my friends. Yeah, I usually do that, study, drive around, those kind of things. Hang out with friends, mostly.
Cool. So, as you can tell, she is a normal person. I'm not a normal person. All right. So, Sophie.
Yes.
You are here today to help us understand what are some of the things. Why are you laughing?
I'm just so excited.
Y'all don't understand
so serious.
How excited she is. I don't think she's ever talked into a microphone before.
I haven't really. Except at church, before church would start, or after church ended, and we would go up and grab a mic.
Is that where your
scared
dream
for our
began?
lives? Yeah. It was just so wow, I have the floor. But yeah. I didn't really, because someone was about to tell me to stop.
Well,
so here I am.
If I need, I'll just mute you later, like that.
Okay. Wait, actually I have to say.
Yeah, you're muted right now. Okay, you're back now.
Okay, never mind.
She just muted herself so she could sneeze. It was a big monster sneeze. Boogers went everywhere.
It was not.
It was deadly. It was snot.
It was.
Okay, Sophie, help us understand as Christian young men, how can we, or what can we do to make ourselves attractive to godly young women? Because, it's one thing to be an attractive dude.
Yeah.
It's quite another thing to be an attractive dude to godly women. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a big difference between that. So what can we do as Christian young men to be attractive to godly young women?
I think the first thing that I would personally notice is leadership skills. Just in everything. Obviously to be a spiritual leader, but also just generally, in any type of setting. I don't want to feel like I'm the one who's leading the decisions that are being made.
Gotcha.
Because that makes me feel almost, if he doesn't care and it's oh, whatever, we can do this, we can do that, it doesn't matter to me, but it matters to me. It makes me feel like I have to pick up the slack for what he's not, saying and doing.
So you don't want a passive guy?
No, not passive. And that's very easy to tell in the beginning. If the guy is not a leader in the beginning, you can tell, and it generally doesn't grow. It pretty much stays the same throughout the entire relationship, or at least I've had experience with that. Yeah.
Okay, so how long would you say, like, how quickly would you be able to determine if a guy you're talking to is a leader or not?
After the first hangout, after the first
Hang out?
hangout
Is
date,
that like a PCC term for a date?
yeah, because you can't really go off campus one on one, but you can be on campus one on one in various areas. So
Yeah.
like your first date, if you will, um, you can tell. Especially I feel like with me because I am more of a like I'm not a pushover. I feel like I can tell pretty easily if this guy's gonna be pretty, with me on that, or if he's gonna be, I can walk all over him and he doesn't care.
Gotcha. All right, so step one, be a leader, be proactive. What are some examples of that?
Um, Kind of not really a silly one, but definitely like a small one. We would like go into church, and for those that have seen the campus of PCC, campus church is massive. There's thousands of people there, and the name of the game is finding a seat, usually towards the back, so that you can, get out quick.
Quick eject.
And we would walk in, and I'd be like, okay, like let's find a seat, and I would have to find the seat for us, like there's ushers there that are guys, and I feel like that kind of sets the example for guys to find the seat. And it was just always so frustrating that he would never kind of like take the initiative to find the seat. He would just kind of follow behind me and do whatever I, was doing.
Gotcha. So, like, walk into it having a plan.
Yeah.
Even in little stuff like that, like, hey, where do you want to go to eat? Where do you want to sit in church?
Yeah.
The guy should walk into that having a plan, knowing, like, hey, this is where we're going to sit. This is where we're going to eat.
Yeah.
We're going to stay here for this long, and then we're going to go do this afterwards, and it's going to be a great time.
That always makes me feel more like secure, and like on a more important thing with, being spiritual. Like I had a guy ask me, what would you consider to be a spiritual leader? Because he didn't know. And that automatically, yeah, exactly. It automatically makes me think, if one, you don't know what that is, you probably don't know how to be one. And he was being very, vulnerable, but at the same point, I was taking mental notes of, this guy probably doesn't understand what it would look like to be a leader, let alone a spiritual leader.
Yeah. If you're having to ask your girlfriend or your wife or whatever else, your special interest group, if, like, what a spiritual leader is, then it's not necessarily a sure sign that you're not a spiritual leader, but you're definitely not leading her if
Right.
she has to tell you how to be a leader. That's not a recipe for success right there.
No.
Okay, now on the leadership thing, a lot of guys struggle with this, not because we don't want to lead and not because we don't know what we want, but a lot of guys struggle with this because they're scared that they're going to offend or hurt or just be like overly aggressive towards their girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
a guy doesn't want to say, hey, we're going to lunch at this place in case she doesn't want to go to that place, because then he feels like he'll sound rude. Is that a legitimate fear? And if it is, then what's our recourse to that? Like, how do you solve that problem?
With me personally, I would much more respect someone who did that. I think that plays into having confidence. Obviously, you don't want to have too much confidence to where you come across as cocky and, so full of yourself. But I would have much more respect for a guy who has a plan. Even if I didn't like the restaurant we were going to, I would be happy that we were going just because he said we're going here at this time and we did it. So I feel like if you were to ask most girls, and like my friends especially, if the guy direct and is like, I would like to do this with you at this time, at this place, we are way more, I mean, we'd be way more open to do it and have a good attitude about it than we would be if he's like, well, maybe sometime this week we can hang out, like, what even is that? Like, let's make a plan.
Yeah, have a plan going into it. And
Yeah.
I heard this somewhere, like, if she doesn't like the plan, she'll probably just tell you, like, hey, let's go out to eat at this place. I don't really like that place. And it's literally that simple. Like, then
Yeah.
you're just,
And
okay, well, let's find a different place.
yeah, like once you get to know the person more, you'll have probably those places that they'll like,
Yeah.
they don't like. But in the beginning, if you're not willing to take that, we're doing this, I don't really think you can ever really gain that as well as you can in the beginning when you kind of set the tone for how the relationship is going to be.
Gotcha. So set the precedent right up front.
Yeah.
You're going to be a leader. And if you're already in a relationship and you haven't set that precedent, now is the time to start.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2.
Number 2 is, I'm going to say, empathy.
Empathy. Okay.
I feel like it's just such a important thing to have in all areas of life, because that trickles down to how you treat people, just overall kindness as well. I would tie into that. It's just so important. Like, you can really tell when a guy cares and he's respectful but kind, and he cares for you in a loving way. Not always. I feel like some guys, they care for you so much that they, walk around like they're going to beat up anyone that looks at you. And that's not always what we're looking for. Sometimes we just want to be loved in a kind way, not so aggressive.
You're not their bodyguard.
Right.
Like,
right.
You don't have to walk around with a pair of sunglasses so you're scary for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so empathy, understanding what her feelings are, and trying to be as supportive through those as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we understand that in the light of the last thing you said, that you still need to be a leader.
Right.
So empathy, I guess, doesn't always mean like just accept everything she's feeling and like go with it and let her feelings decide the world for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't ignore her feelings. And that's an easy one for us guys to fall into as well.
Yeah. I feel like girls have a very hard time sharing how they feel, just generally. That's how we are. If it depends. It depends. Like, obviously in this setting, I'm sharing how I feel and I'm fine. But, when, like, in my last relationship, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Obviously, I'm not fine. But he was just like, okay, she's fine. To pick up on those cues, generally, if you sense there is a problem, there's definitely a problem. And it probably happened a week ago.
Trust your spidey senses.
Yeah, definitely. And I also will say that empathy also goes into other aspects, not only of just, like, personally with the girl, but, like, or at least me, I'm always noticing how he was treating, like, other people in different circumstances. Like, I remember one time in particular, someone had passed away at college, and it was, like, this big deal. And they called everyone in for, like, an emergency chapel, because we had chapel canceled that day, but everyone had to go. And they shared that this boy had died. And I was sitting there crying because it's sad. Like, they were, of course, it's just a sad thing. And then you're thinking, it was right around Thanksgiving, and you're thinking of that family who's going to have that, empty seat at the table. And it was just heartbreaking. Yeah. And the guy I was with at the time was sitting there complaining, and he was upset that he even had to be in there. And then we got out of it, and everyone's very somber from it. And he was just complaining and so upset that we had to be in there. And it was just so repulsive to me that he would have that look at it, that he didn't even care about what had happened. It was just an inconvenience that he had to be in there. And I remember thinking, if that's how he's going to act with something that affects him, like, not at all, how is he going to react in, actual important situations that affect both of us, or his family, my family, things like that.
So it's not just a matter, with any of this that you're going to tell us or have told us, it's not just a matter of how we treat a girl specifically. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of how are you as a person. Yeah. Like, not just are you going to lead me, but, well, lead you, but is the guy a leader in general? Not just is he empathetic towards you on the weekends, but just in general, is he an empathetic person? Does he seek to understand other people around him?
Yeah. It's a very important, and again, we're noticing it in all aspects of, it can be like the smallest thing to something big like that. Mm-hmm. We're always, picking up on those kind of tells.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what would be number 3?
Number 3 is kind of empathy, leadership, but being respectful. At the end of the day, like, we're people. We have our differences. We aren't always going to agree on everything. But just being respectful of the other person, that's part of dating and getting to know someone, is learning about them, learning how they feel, learning their opinions on things. But just being respectful in how you talk to them and how you treat them, and how, again, you would treat other people around you, not just Like, you shouldn't only be kind and loving and respectful to the girl you're with.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
If
like,
you're only loving towards her, then
right.
that's manipulation, not love.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. So, what kinds of things would you expect a respectful guy to do?
I would expect him to think ahead of, if you've had a long week, to, hey, I'm praying for you, or I'm doing this for you, or I'm just kind of thinking ahead. I don't know if that's technically respectful, but
So you're going beyond just like the normal hold the door open for me. This is
yeah.
like,
I'd rather that than hold the door open for me. Like, I
okay.
feel like that's just so basic. That shouldn't even be like, oh, you should do that. You should just do it. It should be a habit.
Shouldn't even have to say it.
Right? Yeah, that shouldn't be. I mean, why aren't we already doing that?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if he knows a test is coming up, think ahead and be like, hey, I'm praying for you about that test, or something like that, and just respecting your feelings. Sometimes if you do need a minute, respecting that and letting you have some space.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guys, or some guys, are quick to be like, this is my girl, I love you, we're getting married in a year, like all these things, and it becomes so much about like almost that ownership of your mind and less about let's have a relationship.
Yeah.
And that it can be repulsive at times.
Yeah. I'll tell you, from a guy's perspective, we tend to live life on this track of like, this is my life, especially as young men, because we're still trying to figure out our lives, still trying to set the course for like, this is where we're going to go for our whole career. Right. And so we sometimes get tunnel vision, like, man, this is where I'm going and I got to get there. And a lot of times, like when we meet a girl, it's almost like pick her up and bring her on the journey with us, which isn't necessarily bad, I don't think. But sometimes it's easy for us to be so focused on where I'm going, who I'm trying to become, that we forget that there's actual people around us, not just like NPCs.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Your friends are not just there to help you on your mission. Like, you're also there for them.
Right.
If you meet a girl, she's not just there to help you on your mission. She is a helpmate, but that's not all she is. She's still a human being created in the image of God. And so you have to treat people around you. This goes beyond just girls. Like, you have to treat the people around you as real people who have value, not just in what they offer to you, but in who they are in general.
Yeah. I've seen that too, where how you were saying the tunnel vision, and it's like, oh, you're upset at me, she's gonna leave me, and then they panic and they're like, you're mine, you're not going anywhere. And then the girl's like, what? I was just annoyed about something. Like, it'll be the most minute thing, and sometimes it's taken like just that fear of we're getting off the track of my plan.
Right.
And the tunnel vision with that, and that can be like a lot, I think, for the girl to kind of digest, especially if it's often. Just because a girl may be upset about something doesn't mean that they're like about to up and leave you. Like, I feel like that's how it's like an all or nothing type of thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got a bad grade on a test, so now, she wants to break up. That's not always what's happening. Like, sometimes we just need a minute to, we have a lot going on. The spaghetti brain, we're thinking and doing all sorts of things. We could be looking right at you and not even, it's just sad, but not even think about what you're saying, or we're, thinking about a conversation we had a year ago and how embarrassing it was,
Well, we do that too, except our minds just go blank. Like, we'll just be staring at you and it's gone. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing going on.
We're thinking about that conversation and how awful it was and how we should have said this rather than that, but we'll probably never see that person again because it was at a restaurant and it was just in passing, but that's what we're hyper fixated on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, respectful, empathetic, leading. Do you have a 4 and 5?
I guess we could kind of like rope them together. Ooh, and it's not necessarily like a one word.
Got a rodeo going on.
And again, they all kind of tie into each other. But I would say a big thing for me is how they treat your friends and your family, which again has to do with the other things, but it has to do with other traits as well. But I always hated when I would be with my friend. I didn't even want to coexist with my friends and the guy at the same time, because I knew how awkward and awful it was going to be. Usually which is sad. My friends weren't really sure about him. That protective measure, which is fair.
Right.
And then, the guy isn't really sure about my friends because he can sense their protective measure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like this constant clash. But I feel like with the right guy, we should all be able to coexist in a very happy and fun environment.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be scared to have him meet, my friends, my other friends, and my family. Like, just how he would treat them really mattered to me. Because, I've been friends with these girls for a while. At college, I'm living with these girls. If they don't like the guy, I'm probably going to pick them over the guy at this point. Mm-hmm. I know not everyone is like that, but at the end of the day, usually who's standing is your friends, not the guy. That's usually how it goes. If, that instinct that your friends have are generally right. They're not always right, but usually they are. So then it's just like an uphill battle of, how this relationship is going to work. Is there a point where ever your friends and the guy can be around at the same time without like hating each other? The side eyes go wild, but like that's always, that would be just great. Like to have a guy that respected your friends and could hang around them.
So, okay, I'm gonna give you the male perspective.
Okay.
Stepping back, a lot of times guys will do that because they're insecure. Like we honestly, like you said, if it comes down to them, the guy versus your friends, you're probably going to choose your friends. And guys know that. And it terrifies them. Because if they get like one whiff that your friends don't like them, they know they're going bye-bye.
Right.
Like they know they're burnt toast at that point. And so guys get really insecure about this. And then what generally tends to happen whenever guys give into this insecurity is they try to push your friends away. And it's not necessarily that they're trying to be some isolationist psychomaniac. It's just that, like, they're trying to protect their relationship with you, which, sounds great, but in all reality, it's just coming down to insecurity.
Right.
So I guess what you're saying for guys is whenever that happens, because you're probably going to feel insecure, especially at the beginning.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, the girls are judging you so hard.
100%.
Like, just know that. They have stalked you. They know where you live. They know when your mom graduated from college and where she went to college. Like, just no, we're going to know those things. They are judging you.
Yeah. And every conversation is probably going to go back to the little group of friends. And everything you said is probably going to be overanalyzed.
Oh, definitely.
And if you send a letter to her, it's probably going to get read.
Yeah. Some people go as far to record conversations in real life so that they can go back and study them and see.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, exactly. That is very extreme. But sometimes we just have to, do they really like me? How do they really feel about me? And we just have to know, and that's what we resort to.
So I know a lot of guys will have strong feelings about that, right or wrong, whatever it is. However, girls should be handling that. The fact is, girls do it that way.
Yeah.
And so whenever, guys, you begin to feel insecure in a situation like that, what Sophie's saying is the solution is not to push her friends away or to try to shun all of her family or make them all seem like they're awful people to the girl you're with. Your solution is try to, like, almost prove yourself to those friends.
Oh, yes.
Because if the friends like you, then the girl you're with is probably going to end up liking you. But a little hint, the girls are never going to like you if you try to push them away and make them sound like they're horrible, awful human beings. Yeah. Am I right in saying that?
No, that's so real. The sooner you can...
I made a good point. Applause.
The sooner you can be a girl's girl and just connect with them is the fastest way, honestly, I think, to get to the girl. Because the first time I hung out with that guy, of course I went back and we were talking about it and analyzing it, front, back, and beside it and all those things. And as soon as they were like, I'm not really sure about him, I immediately was like, yeah, I'm not sure about him either. And then from that point on, it was like I was convincing myself that I like him. And then I was like going back to my room and, hanging out with friends and trying to persuade them. And that's how it became for me. So then I'm through all the other relationship things you're going through, on top of it all, I'm now trying to convince myself that I like this guy, and I'm trying to convince my friends that, he is a good guy and he is those things. And the sooner you can just connect with them on that real level is honestly, I think, one of the fastest ways you can. I mean, if the friends like you, that is a golden ticket for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, the option here is not to surrender your man card and, like, go be a wuss and, like,
oh, yeah. Don't do that.
just go hang out, go shopping at Ulta with all the girls, right? That is not your solution.
No.
But, like, all those things that we talked about, leadership and empathy and, what was the third one? Respect.
Yes.
Leadership, empathy, respect. All of those things, the point here is just show that good character to her friends.
Yeah.
So that they can see, too, the thing that's making you attractive to whoever it is you're trying to get.
Yes. Like, last semester, one of my good friends had a guy ask her out to the fine arts, which is always a big deal, and the guys always get the girls flowers. And at that point, they were just friends. Like, probably nothing was going to happen, but of course it was, like, meant in a romantic gesture. And we went out, and I was going to, like, tag along. I was basically third wheeling. And, yeah, basically. And I went out, and he bought her, like, a nice, big bouquet of flowers, but he also bought me, like, a smaller bouquet of flowers. And that's what I was thinking. Like, it totally made my night, and I immediately was like, if nothing else, seems like a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the thoughtfulness to get me flowers, but also my friend's flowers were, like, double the size. So it was just, like, so thoughtful, in my opinion. It wasn't going to be equal. Hers was going to be bigger, but I wasn't going to just get nothing. Not that I expected anything, but that, like, totally resonated with me. And I was like, wow, what a guy.
Yeah.
It was just, like, such a simple gesture, but...
Okay, that brings up a question that I'm guessing a lot of guys have thought about, but probably never realized they're thinking about. And I've never realized I've thought about this until just now. So, suppose you're in a relationship with a guy.
Okay.
And you have friends, right?
Yes.
The kind of, obviously, the understanding is he's not going to act romantic towards any of your friends. That's a definite, like, horrible plan, right?
Yeah, don't do that.
You're done if you try that. But a lot of guys will go so far as to, like, I can't hold the door for her friends because that might seem inappropriate. Or, like, she might think that I'm trying to be romantic towards them. Or I can't be a gentleman towards her friends because she's going to think now that I'm trying to flirt with them. Is that a good plan? Should I, like, just be not gentlemanly towards anybody but her? Or should I be a gentleman to everybody?
I think personally, everybody. And that goes back to kind of the first couple of things we were talking about. How you treat others, I totally am going to pick up on. If you're just holding the door open for me, it seems, again, like that pigeonhole just on me. I would have much more respect if you're showing that to everyone. And then also, if you're secure in the relationship and there's not a lot of insecurities, that shouldn't be a problem. If the guy, if I was with a guy and he was known for kind of, I don't know, flirting around and those types of things, then first of all, I probably shouldn't be with him. And second of all, like, that's going to be a fair insecurity to have. But if you're secure in that relationship and, it's centered around, godly values, then I shouldn't be, freaking out if he opens the door for another girl.
Yes.
Because, especially if they're my friends, like, that would make me look and think, oh, he respects that they're my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think two things about it, if he did that.
What if... Never mind, I won't ask that question.
No, do it.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to end up in the final cut. So, like, what if he offers his jacket to her? Because that used to be, like, back in the day, that was that's just what a gentleman does. Not necessarily a romantic gesture. It's just, like, a lady's cold, you offer her your jacket. If she's going to step over a puddle, you put your jacket on the puddle, let her step on that. Like, that's just what you did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, giving someone your jacket has become, like, this... It's almost like an engagement ring for her.
Right.
It's like, hey, you're wearing my jacket.
Yeah.
You're my girl.
Yeah.
And everybody around you sees you're my girl because you've got my jacket on, right? So I guess this is really a personal opinion, but where do you fall on that? Where, like, would it be appropriate if you're perfectly fine and toasty, but your friend is freezing to death? Should your guy offer her his jacket?
Absolutely not.
No?
No,
Okay.
that would bother me a lot. I mean, thinking about it, it's really not that big of a deal. But then I would just want it. I would want the jacket, even if I was even if I was hot. Like,
Give
no,
me the jacket.
yeah, especially
Give me an
in the
offer.
PCC setting where every Sunday, the guys have to wear like suit and tie. It's very common to see a girl walking around with like the guy's suit coat or whatever.
Mm.
So for me, that would bother me a little bit.
Okay.
Especially since, PCCs, that's such a common thing to see. That would probably
Gotcha.
bother me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what if you were to suggest it? Like, what if your friend is cold? And I don't know if you ever would, but
Yeah.
like your friend's cold, and the clear only solution to help her right now is the one jacket in the room, which is your boyfriend's.
Mm-hmm.
If you suggest, is that a test for him? Are you saying, hey, what do you think you should
Honestly,
do right
okay,
now?
now that
Or would that be like just an honest, hey, she's cold, give her your jacket?
Yeah, now that I think about it more, I think the friend wouldn't even want the jacket. None of my friends would take it.
Interesting.
Yeah, no,
Girl code.
honestly, yeah, now that I think about it more, I don't think it has anything to do with the guy. I think it should have to do with the girl. If that's your real friend, she's not going to take it. Even if he offers it, she should be like, absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, if I was walking around with my girl and her guy, and he offered me his jacket, I would probably laugh. Like, I'm not going to take it. Yeah, again, I think that's that girl code.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think she would want it. And even if he did, like, insist on, that would be weird. If he was, like, insisting she take it.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wear it.
I think, honestly, my friends would probably freeze before they would take my guy's jacket.
Interesting.
And I would probably do the same. Like, that's just kind of weird.
So, guys, know the girl code.
Yeah.
She will not accept. So,
But I will say, if I was cold, like in the early stages of the relationship, when it's still not like super official, we're not quite to that jacket stage yet. You
right.
know?
Yeah.
If I was freezing and he's like, "Here, take my jacket," and I'm like, "No, like put the jacket on me, like force it on my body." Like, obviously, I want it, but I don't want to like make it seem like I want it.
Okay.
So in that setting, force the jacket.
Gotcha. So there's a whole lot of nonverbal communication going on.
Oh yeah.
And guys, basically, we're hopelessly lost, and you're never gonna figure this out. But here's a few tips to help you not figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sophie.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, do you have any closing tips for us? Pro tips, like just anything that you wish you could tell every man in America. This is what you ought to be doing.
Yes.
You dimwit.
I have one.
Okay. What is it?
If you like a girl, ask her out. If you have feelings, or you may have feelings, or you find her attractive and you're like, her personality seems nice, maybe just ask her out. I'm telling you, if not, can I have your Snapchat? What? No. Why do you even still have Snapchat? No. Can I have your Instagram? No. Can I take you on a date? Can, like whatever happened to that? Bring it back.
Yes.
If you may, even if you're not sure, I would be probably 10 times more willing to go out with a guy if he was just direct about it.
Okay.
I don't want to give you my Instagram. I want either like, can I have your number, or can I like take you out on a date? That's
Gotcha.
way more like real. And again, even if you're not sure, I know that's a scary thing, but most of the time we are probably going to say yes because we feel sorry for you anyways. So like you have not like we feel sorry.
That's unfortunate.
Well, because we would be embarrassed to say no. So usually we would say yes, even if...
That's a win for us, guys.
Yeah, like even if I'm not sure about you, I'm probably still going to go.
So if she says no, you really did something dumb.
Yeah, probably. Probably. But yeah, if you aren't sure, if you are sure, I guarantee you, if you were to be direct about it, the girl is way more likely to be open to that, relationship.
What happens if you go on the date with her.
Mm-hmm.
As a girl, how would you want him, if he goes on a date with you and he decides, I don't want another date after this one, how would you want him to handle that?
Honestly, with just kindness and grace. Usually, at that point, all the girls know. So it's going to be a big ego blow for sure for the girl, because we've definitely hyped it up. We've already been looking at our Pinterest boards of weddings. Like we
Oh, wow.
are
That
thinking
was
through
fast.
it. Yeah, even if we don't even know, all we may know is the guy's name, but we are thinking these things through. You know, how long do we think the relationship is going to last? Like, we're just we overthink, and that's fine. So honestly, if you just do it with grace and just be clear, I would, as long as you're clear and you're kind, I don't think the girl could fault you for that.
Gotcha.
But if you're, I wouldn't like tear her down or anything like that, but just make it clear that you're not wanting more. That way she's not left confused, because
Gotcha.
that is a bummer of a feeling, is to be confused after. Honestly, through all points of the relationship, if you are clear and honest, it's probably going to go way farther than you think. Because we want that clarity. We want you to be like, I like you, period. I, want to have a lasting relationship with you. The direct, the clear, we like that.
Gotcha.
Unless,
Clarity
of course,
is
it's
key.
like an very overly confident
Right.
person.
Yeah, like, hey girl, you're going with me on a date tonight.
Right, yeah.
6 p.m., be ready.
That would probably be scary.
But clear, like, hey, I like you.
Yeah.
I want you to be there with me tonight.
Yes, 100%.
And if she doesn't want to go, she'll say no. And it works out.
Yeah,
You'll
and
be embarrassed and you'll look like a doofus, but it's okay.
even if she doesn't want to go, again, she probably will go. I would probably go.
Okay.
But there's even that small chance that you would win her over by how you act.
Okay.
If you can tell that she's kind of on the fence, I would really like zone in on how you act at that event. Like, that's kind of your last chance to really do something great and make her stick around. So I would really, emphasize what you're doing and prioritize how you act.
You just gave hope to, like, every sad boy who ever listens to this podcast.
Okay. If the girl has already told you no, just leave it. She probably would go back, but she knows it's probably better if she doesn't.
So in that case, you're probably better off for both your sakes.
Yes.
Just moving on.
Yes. But if it's like, oh, I kind of like him, oh, I kind of like her, then try again. You never know. But if it's someone's definitely saying no, then I would just leave it where it is.
Gotcha. If at first you don't succeed, try again, unless she said no, in which case doing the same thing and expecting a different result is insanity, according to Albert Einstein.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then you just make the girl feel worse and worse.
Sorry.
Then if you keep trying and she said no, it makes the girl feel awful. It's like we're breaking the person's heart all over again and again. Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, Sophie, thank you so much for being on Seeking Wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
Christian young men see life from God's perspective. Guys, I hope these tips are helpful to you, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing from Sophie. If you like this, comment, then we'll know to bring more stuff like this back in future episodes.
Yeah, maybe I'll come back for part 2.
Hey, there we go. The most repulsive things that guys do.
Do you have an hour? I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Garlic breath, not wearing...
if you're going out in public, look presentable. Put on cologne. Buy good cologne.
That's fair.
Because the girl has like 20 bottles of perfume and she's
wearing them all. She's wearing them all.
And 20, sprays of all of them. So please, smell nice.
Smell nice.
There's no excuse.
Yeah. Thank you, Sophie, again, for being on here.
Yep.
You guys, act like men, stay strong.